So let's start with it. Davison told me that his idea involved them thinking they'd done the entire thing, but the BBC cancelled it due to lack of diversity. So he goes to the bar at BBC, passes every single remotely diverse actor who's ever appeared in Doctor Who Plus. When he sits back down, it's been greenlit. That sounds like Peter Davison's sense of humor, right? That does indeed sound like something that he would do. So here, where is it? Doink. Peter Davison reveals scrap plans for the Five-ish Doctors reboot follow-up. They probably would have called what he would have called it, Five-ish Doctors reboot follow-up. He spoke about the prospect of a new skit for the 60th anniversary. The Fifth Doctor, Peter Davison, Fifth Doctor Peter Davison has exclusively revealed his plans to create a follow-up to the 2013 sketch, The Five-ish Doctors Reboot. I mean, listen, if the 50th anniversary wasn't so freaking awesome, that would have been one of the best bits. But there were so many other great bits. You had Night of the Doctor. You had Day of the Doctor. That was awesome. I mean, I really love that story, right? Totally rewatchable. The original skit celebrated 50 years of the legendary show, and featured Davison alongside the Sixth Doctor, Colin Baker, Seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, attempting to sneak their way into a role in the coveted 50th anniversary special, The Day of the Doctor, with appearances from Doctor Who alumni such as David Tennant, Paul McGann. Paul McGann was great. Paul McGann was one of the funniest ones. Matt Smith and a whole host of companions. The film was, I mean, I love John Barrowman, and by the way, there's some people coming out to really cancel him again now. Whoa. The film was a success and beloved by fans around the world. Hope to catch a glimpse of past Doctors and friends for the anniversary celebrations. Speaking of the prospect of a follow-up 60th anniversary spoof, Davison and his wife, author Elizabeth Morton, have confirmed that the new sketch was planned but eventually scrapped. I came up with an idea. It was deemed by those I showed it to as utterly unacceptable. That sounds like he's telling the truth, right? That does sound like he's telling the truth. Although I thought it was very funny. Yes, he must have been taking the piss out of diversity. And one thing they can't have you do is take the piss out of diversity. That is the worstest thing ever. No. Elaborating on the scrap today, it's a different, he explained, it's a different world now. And I wouldn't say pushing the boundaries. My sense of humor is maybe a little out of sync with it's telling the truth. Yes. With the sense of humor that now exists. What you mean? None. There is no sense of humor. There's just dourness, right? The pair went on to discuss trying to top the original version, what it would take to create something that was just as brilliant and celebratory. It was perfect, and it just evolved. It started off so small. Peter was just going to film it himself, but the whole thing became suddenly you go, Ian McKellen has agreed to be in it. Peter Jackson said he'll pop by. It was phenomenal. I don't remember Ian McKellen in it. I can't remember that well, to be honest with you. To get that perfect storm, I would think I would diminish the original Five Doctor-ish, the original Five-ish Doctors if you try to do it again, said Morton. I wouldn't have wanted to do it anyway, unless it could be as good or better. Well, your idea did sound like it was good or better, mate. So in the end, it came very clear that there were too many compromises I'll be asked to making it. I mean, really, you have to make compromises during like a skit. That's the insane world we live in, right? Making of it, and I thought I bet it'll take the piss out of Jodie as well. I thought best just leave it alone. The original was perfect. This sounds like it would be even better. Davison went on to add his experience with directing led him to realize that he didn't quite learn the knack of compromise required for an updated anniversary spoof, right? That's the trouble. With my first experience of directing, as I enjoyed it enormously, I realized I am too unmoving and I'm not gained talent on compromising with what I want. Rounding off the revealing conversation, the pair suggested the BBC air the Five-ish Doctor reboot again for 6th anniversary of our favourite time show. Rewatch anybody? Yes, I would rewatch. So I saw Bleeding Cool also had a story about this. Feeding cool, and they're always good to take the piss out of. Indiana Jones and the Dialization Tales discuss an Agent Mason. Oh god, yeah, the girl boss. She was awful. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning doesn't meet. Oh, fuck off. I don't believe you for a second. Doesn't meet expectations. I just think you don't want it to do massively better than Indiana Jones because Indiana Jones failed because of Phoebe Waller-Bridge, right? Do not believe you for a freaking second. Genuinely do not. So sex education is done for. Oh, here we go. Fine. Blah blah. Who's this? Reef Fluke wrote this. I don't know. Addie Tenement. Fine. So blah 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 blah. Speaking to Radio Times. Blah 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 blah. Perfect Storm. When someone says the powers that be deem their pitch unacceptable and they won't compromise, it makes us wonder. It's probably for the best the BBC rejected it if Davison was certain his idea was too very funny for the BBC. Let's be fair. Let's not forget he, Baker, and McCoy and McGann were all invited to make guest appearances in Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker's finale. Yeah, who cares? All right, it's 100%. This. It is 100% that. Don't you think? I think so. I think it is literally 100% that. Okay. My name's Tzvi Lebetkin, the Rabbi from another planet. Please like, share, and subscribe, and ring that little bell. Ring the little bell so you're notified when new videos drop.